Joining me now in studio are Annie Murphy and her co-star Elisha Cuthbert. Hello to you both.
Hey.
Hi.
So Annie, give us a pitch for the series. What's the story?
The story is about a band who gets giant overnight with their one and only single, Young Love.
Yeah.
And just as everything's going great, the media is going great, everything's wonderful, their lead singer, unfortunately, gets electrocuted and dies during band practice. And
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty sad.
Yeah.
Not good news. So this leaves the three remaining band members who are total morons. They know for a fact that they want to be famous rock stars, but they do not have the talent or the wherewithal to do this because they've just been riding the lead singer's coattails.
He's the real talent.
He's
the real deal.
The real deal. So that's where we start, and the series continues.
Seems like we're having an bad accidents theme on the show today. So Annie, what inspired the idea?
Well, I'm married to a musician, so that
helps.
really was helpful.
Yeah.
I guess it was 5 or 6 years ago, I was a very, very unemployed actor in Montreal. And so I hopped in the band van with my husband and his band and toured around. And there were so many instances of these ridiculous and very heated arguments about the stupidest stuff. One of my favorite ones was two of the guys in the band got in a almost violent fight over if one of them were to eat Arby's for the rest of his life and the other one were to eat Burger King for the rest of his life, which one of them would die first. And so there were so many of these absolutely ridiculous
Is it because they spend
encounters.
so much time it's unhealthy the amount of time that they're spending with one another, where things just become it's like siblings.
It's deeper than siblings.
It's even deeper. Yeah,
deeper.
it's crazy.
I was just nodding in agreement, like, oh yeah, that's like a perfectly normal conversation
legit.
to
That's
have
completely
in
legit.
a band van. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a fascinating conversation, especially since I happen to think no one's ever been to Arby's. That's my personal.
It just
Yeah.
it's frightening to look at. So I was on that guy's side. I figured if you just go Arby's for the
You're
rest of
dead
your life, you're
immediately.
gone first.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Too many onion buns.
Too many onion buns,
Yeah.
exactly. And then there were just so many instances of running into industry people who took themselves so seriously and like their forehead was furrowed and their lips were pursed 24 hours a day. And so I just figured it's time to poke some fun at that. And my co-writer, Matt Raudsepp, co-creator Matt Raudsepp, he was also a very unemployed actor in Montreal and was in a bunch of bands. And so we were kind of dealing with the same ridiculousness and culture. And so we put our heads together and
It's funny with music too. Like I find like as an actor when you're on a show, you would think that like actors are like divas in a way, and I'm sure there are some, but collectively we're not doing a movie about that particular actor. We're all working together. But in music, you are the artist, you are the entity. So it's amazing too to see how everyone surrounding the artist becomes crazy and like
sucked into this
black
like
hole. Vortex of like this is the only person that exists on the planet, and you're like, no, actually there are other things going on in the world. So it's
That's an
interesting.
interesting perspective. Yeah, coming in as an actor into the I know from experience ridiculous world of music. Did your husband also see the comic potential in his life and
Or was
work?
he
big time.
offended?
Thankfully, he was like just offering up story after story after story
That's
because he's
great.
been in a band for years and years. So yeah, it was great to have his brain to pick.
Elisha, you've been
Yeah.
doing big network sitcoms, including Happy Endings. What drew you to a DIY project?
What's that?
What drew you to a DIY project like this?
Actually, it kind of came to me through our Popular Mechanics for Kids crew, which was insane. And this is not a lie. I got a direct message on Twitter from Tyler Kite. And he hit me up going, "What are you doing right now? We're about to start this amazing, cool little, web series thing." And there's this spin on our group, which was, Popular Mechanics for Kids.
Could you explain for people who maybe aren't familiar with the show?
So when I was younger, I did a show called Popular Mechanics for Kids. It was like this educational show. Jay Baruchel was on it. I was on it. And again, Tyler. And it's funny, we traveled around the world and we did really cool things, but it was sort of like a Canadian staple in a lot of kids' homes because we were on every single morning.
It was my favorite show
It's
for a very
amazing.
long time. Yeah.
And it was like we were having fun, but we were also teaching kids crazy educational things. But anyway, so they had this like really great idea where their rival band in the Plateaus, Kiss Me I'm Stylish, is actually the cast of Popular Mechanics for Kids. So they were trying to get us all together. And when I heard that, I was like, this is genius. This is hilarious. Because we've always wanted to do something together just to sort of reunite and you know, and this was the perfect way to do it because we had a little bit of fun with it. We didn't take it too seriously, and we got to have a great time shooting it, and it was a blast. And the timing was really good too because I think Entertainment Tonight or someone had come to us to do like a reunion interview, but this was so much better and such a great.
It's a great vehicle for a reunion.
It was. Yeah. It really was.
Alicia full on turned down Entertainment Tonight to do our web series, so it was pretty awesome to have them.
Are you a music fan, Alicia?
Yeah, I love music. Who doesn't? I mean, I think.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
If you have
music sucks. Kind of like whatever.
When it's on,
no,
I just hate it. Yeah.
No, I do. I'm a music fan, and it was fun to go in and play like a crazy off the wall sort of rocker chick. Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
What did you learn about making music, or what was fun about it? Kind of hopping into the music world from the acting world.
Yeah, I mean, the script lent itself to us having a really good time and being sort of over the top. And Annie and I have some really great scenes together where, you know, we're supposed to hate each other, but secretly we really do have like a girl,
fondness.
Like a girl crush. You know, it's sort of like we admire one another. But
we're gonna play a clip of that.
Oh, great! But in front of the boys, we're like, I hate your guts. So it was like really fun to do that, and the costumes were really great. And Jay and Tyler and I got to do a music video. And I'd been in a couple of music videos, but it was really fun, just holding the instruments. You just automatically feel cool when you're holding a guitar.
Yeah, no matter what.
No matter what. I was like, and then Jay's like, I want the electric guitar, and he threw me the bass, and I'm like, but I still feel kind of cool.
Bass is still okay.
Bass is cool.
I was also the bass player, knowing no bass.
Bass is a pretty cool instrument.
It is a cool instrument to hold.
Mm-hmm.
I know that for a fact.
They're really heavy.
They're heavy.
Yeah.
They're a heavy instrument.
Yeah.
They're heavy. The strings are heavy. Annie, were you surprised by any of the performances by the musicians as actors?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think deep down, most musicians secretly want to be actors, and most actors secretly want to be musicians.
Yeah, definitely.
And so we had Fred Penner, we had Sam Roberts, we had the guys in Colorado, we had Billy Talent, and Sam and Fred in particular just took this role, both of their roles by the horns.
Fred Penner's having a moment right now.
He's like having his moment in the sun, and I'm so happy. He's one of the best human beings I've ever met in my life.
I also loved seeing Sam Roberts, one of the nicest guys in music.
Kindest men,
Playing a total megalomaniac.
Yeah.
He's the worst. He's like this leather pant wearing, snakeskin shoe wearing.
I was so blown away that he went for it. I mean,
he dove real deep.
It takes actors years to just get out of themselves to kind of get to a place where they can actually perform like that.
Yeah.
And he showed up and he was all for it, and he was in it to win it.
And
he killed it.
He came in just so ready to go. I think just because he lives a life of such good and kind, and he was just ready to let loose, and he did right off the bat. And he kind of stayed in character a little bit between takes, but then
and
would
he was
get
quiet at lunch too. I remember I was like, he's staying in it.
But then he would get
total method man right now.
Really concerned. He would come up to me and be like, "People know that I'm joking, right? I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. I just
really
I'm feeling
nice.
this." And it was great. It was so
sweet.
fun.
Can you talk about the rivalry between your characters and what you were trying to do with that?
What we wanted, so there was a core writing team of 4 of us, and it was 2 boys and 2 girls, or 2 men and 2 women, I guess you could call us. And Charlotte Corbet-Coleman, who was the other female writer, and I wanted to have a rivalry, but without the cattiness that so often exists. And we wanted to have fun with a female relationship in the show. And so our characters knew that we had to have this standoff, but couldn't find anything nasty to say to each other. So just complimented each other through gritted teeth. And I really liked the relationship that Elisha's character and I have, just in the sense that you see eventually the females supporting each other at the end of the day.
Is competition and rivalry something you see a lot in acting?
Yeah. I mean, yes. Do you find that too?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it can. I mean, the thing is, too, though, like, you get to California, and at some point you're like, there's so many people here doing the same thing that at one point I just sort of got over it, you know, and I was just like, went in and did my thing. But, you know, growing up in Canada as an actor, I remember it was like in Montreal, Maggie Castle, this really talented brunette actress, and myself, it was like I saw her at every audition, and it was like either they want the blonde or the brunette. So I didn't realize, I was like, I got a 50% chance of getting this job. Then I went to LA and I was like, I never saw the same girl again. Like, it was like every audition, it was like a new batch of like 15 talented people. So I was like, I'm never going to work again. So at some point you got to let that competitiveness go, but I'm sure, there's people that are,
It is, well, not so much anymore, but I guess when I started out when I was younger, you would go into the audition room, the waiting room, full of, you know, for me, like girls who were 5'8" and had brown hair and blue eyes, and everyone was vying for this role.
Right.
And I guess we were all younger then, and so it was, instead of saying,
"Hi, what's
hey,
up?
Good luck."
It
was like, "Hey, good luck in there."
Yeah,
and just a look up and down.
I know.
Just everyone was wishing.
I know. It was like who's looking at their sides and like freaking out about the dialogue. And,
that was me.
Yeah, and who's like I would try to like psych people out and go in and not look at them at all.
Oh,
see, that's one thing with music that I can't exactly relate to, because we don't go through exactly that auditioning process, constant auditioning process.
Right.
We do in a sense, but not as formally, not as explicitly as actors do.
Yeah, we have a job interview all the time. I mean, it's like, it's a never-ending, it's a difficult gig for sure.
A lot of it's based on how you look.
Yeah, I was going to say, at the end of it, like, if it's you and I, we're both talented actresses, it's like, you know, she's taller, so therefore she gets it. Like, it gets so stupid at the end, really.
And it can boil down to like, well,
her eyebrows are
I was just going to say eyebrows.
She's got better eyebrows.
Yeah.
And there's not a whole lot you can do about it. I'd imagine at some point you just have to get past the competition element and focus on what you can do.
Yeah.
Also, in terms of competition, web series can be a great way of sort of circumventing the network TV world that doesn't always have the most opportunities. Both of you have worked in both worlds. How do they compare? I'll start with you, Elisha.
Oh, like you mean film, television, or
like,
being
like
online?
network television project versus something like this.
Something a little bit more independent. You probably could speak to it more because you probably have a little bit more control when you don't have, you know, a studio sort of down your throat wanting it to be a certain way to like appease to the masses. I mean, I think creatively we get to do a little bit more. But I mean, how was it? I mean, you were on it from the ground up, so.
Yeah, and I mean, I've never done like the TV route before, but what I loved so much about doing this is that we could maintain creative control throughout the whole thing.
Which is
there
huge.
was no red tape that we had, or not as much red tape that we had to go through, and you know, we hired who we wanted on both sides of the camera, and so just to have that freedom,
that control too, because a lot of times you have no control. You submit a script and then it's there and they can tweak and make changes, and no, it was a really smart way to go.
What about the spirit of the project in terms of when you're on set and you're working? It
was amazing. I mean, we hired our very capable and talented friends to work on the show, and everyone was really enthusiastic. Had a lot of fun. It was a little bit, you know, sleepover camp from time to time. It was great, but it was a great vibe, and even in those early mornings, and even schlepping from one set to another, everyone was
these guys worked their asses off. I mean, it's not easy to come in and do what they did in the allotted amount of time that you guys had, and I was blown away. I mean, we were doing a lot of content every day. It was
we bit off a lot.
I know. I kept thinking, like, how are they doing this right now? This is unbelievable. So
Skin of our teeth.
Well, it's an absolute blast to watch. You guys are clearly having a lot of fun with it, and all the cameos, of course, the return of Popular Mechanics for Kids.
Right.
Fred Penner.
Crazy.
It's a blast. So thank you guys so much for joining me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having us.